Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Committed to Me podcast. I'm Keisha Britton Smiley, mental health therapist and licensed social worker as well.
Woo! Yes, y'all. Welcome back to another episode. I am Alexis Campbell, licensed mental health therapist and supervisor,
Mm.
and we are so glad to be back for another episode,
Yeah. Can we
y'all.
solicit some supervisees?
Child. But my supervisees portal is open. I am welcoming in a new
Okay,
cohort.
there we go. There we go.
Go to info at me, myself, and healing if you want to get started.
Okay,
Yeah,
that was great.
thank
Okay.
you.
All right. So today's episode, we are talking about dating.
Yeah, y'all.
Dating is hard. It is different. I heard the sea out there smell like pee.
What?
I did. They said it smelled like pee in the sea of dating.
Girl. All right.
I don't
Yeah.
know about that because I'm not dating anymore.
Yeah, girl.
But
You don't
Alexis,
got swooped up.
I got swooped up. I did, and that man swooped up in the quickness, quicker
Yeah.
than I thought was possible.
He
So
wasn't playing with you.
he was not. What is your intention on your current dating?
My
What you
intention
doing?
on my current dating is to really make sure that I'm dating to have like an experience and a type of experience that matches my standard in
Okay.
terms of dating. I worked really hard to create this type of standard for my life. And so as I navigate within the dating field, I don't want to make sure I'm lowering my standard just to
Mm-hmm.
be with somebody,
Okay.
especially as I'm getting older and things of that nature. So really focusing on my standard and really showing up in a space as like my best self.
I love that.
Thank you,
I
girl.
love that for you.
Yes. Now I know you got swooped up. I know
Uh-huh.
you not in the sea that they said smell like pee.
Pee.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. But what was your intentions? Like how did you show up in the dating world?
I will say after my last serious relationship, I was like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm having fun. And fun I
Yes.
had until that man came and swooped me up and stopped me dead in the middle of jumping up to have fun. You
Yeah, he
know?
said fun over.
Okay, I was like in mid hop, like I wasn't ready yet, you know. Baby, I had fun. I did.
Yeah.
I absolutely enjoyed myself. I said I am new to Houston, or even back when I was in Dallas, and a
Yeah.
time was had.
I love
A
that.
time was had. And to the people who tried to get serious, I had to let them know, like, I'm not sure if
Mm,
this is what you want because I myself am not emotionally available right now, you know.
facts.
Um, and I think closer to my husband, like coming back into my life, I was kind of like, okay, let me be a little more intentional, let me heal myself. And
Mm.
then that man just came along and was like, fun's over. Let's wrap it up, you know.
Let's get serious. Lock in right now.
Okay.
So you think women can navigate in relationships without being emotionally available in the dating world?
I'm gonna say yes because it happens.
It does
It does
happen. Thank
happen.
you.
It does happen, and sometimes it's easy and it's safe to
Yeah.
not be emotionally available. Like, I just want to have fun. I want to be on the surface level, and
Mm,
maybe we can, we go eat, we catch some drinks. We may go out and have some fun, go to a
mhm.
little comedy show. But then it's like that's all I want, and then I feel like that's where you cut off your emotional availability because you're like anything more, I'm not ready to do.
Right. So this man texting you like, man, I just had a really long day at work. You like,
Okay.
okay.
I too. But
Uh,
what do you need past that, sir?
yeah.
Okay.
But doesn't that make dating so transactional?
It do it, but it's low key. Like you have to find somebody who you like. We just vibe without
Yeah.
the effort. We just vibe,
Yeah. The
right?
chemistry is there.
Yes, because you're not about to be texting me every 30 minutes. How's work? How your day,
Right.
sir? 8 o'clock. How your day going? I'm just getting up. Calm down.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
that little teetering things. I don't like those things, and it
Yeah.
bothers me to my core.
Mm,
It do. It
yeah.
bothers me to my core.
See, that's interesting because like I know back then, like when I was in my 20s, or even like just growing up, like I will always hear the men in my family saying that like, oh, you need to date in a way where you're just like focusing on one person,
Mm.
because you don't need to be out here popping it and going dating one person and this person or just having like sex with everybody. Like you a woman, you shouldn't do those things. Da, 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 da. And honestly, they were wrong. Like they were so wrong. Like you as a woman, you could do whatever you want to
Whatever you
do, you know.
want.
But I feel like that made my dating experience really challenging when I started to believe, even this wouldn't even come from the men in my family, this would also come from the women in my family as well too, just telling me that I need to date very conservatively.
Yeah. So, and I've heard that too before, but it
Hmm.
goes back to if I'm going to be exclusive to one person, that's like I'm acting in the realms of commitment and we are not
We
committed.
are not committed.
So, why would I do that, right? And
Exactly.
especially if this man ain't exclusive to me, why would I do the service of being exclusive to you, right? So now I'm
Yes.
getting my hopes up for no reason. You got your options open, and I'm over
Hmm.
here like, oh, I got to be the good church girl and I can't date nobody but one person,
Right.
and it's not fair. It doesn't give you the good dating experience because the point of dating is to like explore, right? It's
Yeah.
what your options are, and then you learn what I do like, what I don't like in people, and then you slowly cut off these people. You get people who you like, right?
Yes.
And you're working to find who it is that you want. So I
Hmm.
believe, girls, sow your royal oats.
Yes, do your thing. Of course, do it in a safe way,
Right, very
but then
safe.
also making sure that like you're not catering your dating experience around one person. I feel like that's the like if I could go back and talk to my younger self, I would say, girl, see what you like.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I would also tell her date outside your race.
Yes. No, but for real,
Because you just never
you never know.
know.
You
You never
never
know.
know.
I've seen a lot of women, black women
And they be
especially,
happy.
happy,
They be happy. They don't have
happy.
no stress.
They're
They
okay.
get what they want.
And so my whole thing is just like explore. Like, I don't have to bring in like the narratives of my aunties, my uncles, my mama, or anything like that. And just have my own personalized dating experience and but still keeping myself in mind. That don't mean that I gotta lose myself. That don't mean that I have to
Yeah.
lose my cultural experience, my cultural background. Like I don't have to lose any of those things. But I think a lot of women should open themselves up into dating. But it's really hard because like dating in our 20s looks so different than dating in our 30s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I would say I feel like there are certain people who would be good with somebody of the of a different race.
Right.
Right? And then some people you like, nah, you need a black man. But I believe you go good with a white man or whoever, right?
How you would determine
Because
that?
I feel like it's I just read it. I can just read it and be like, I
Yeah.
can see it. I can see it. And you like when it comes to somebody's, I don't know, characteristics, qualities, what they want, what's on their list, right?
Mm.
And sometimes I'm just like, no, you need to go outside your race to get that.
Oh
And right,
wow. Yeah, because some things are just cultural.
right. And me, I'm like, no, I don't want peach. And I don't want peach. We not gonna go with peach. We gonna go with the black man.
Yeah.
Don't look at me like
Cause
that.
I'm like, what does peach mean?
A peach penis.
Oh, you learn something new every day. I just like that's why I was like, what's that mean? Like I don't.
What I just don't want. I don't want peach. I don't want pink. I just want brown.
I get that. I get that. I get that. I get that that's a preference thing. I get that. But at the same time, I also want, if I am going to date outside of my race, I told myself like they have to be understanding
Yes, to your
and
culture.
culturally competent to my
Yes,
culture,
yes,
because I do believe like there are a lot of men out there do that fetishize black women,
they do.
and that can become like a very scary experience, and I don't want to experience that at all. And it's really easy to pick up on when a man is fetishizing. Even like I've came across like black men fetishizing like the body types and
Hmm.
things of that nature, and it's just very off putting. And so like in my dating experience in my 20s, I really had fun. Like I really allowed myself to um date all different types of people, but then also make sure that I was being very assertive in my dating experience as
Okay.
well too.
Okay.
Meaning that like I just wasn't taking, I think at a very young age I had my standard of dating because coming from the South, we are taught as black women that a man is supposed to court you. So
Mm-hmm.
I know like now things are so different because of social media, but like I was always used to a man saying, "Hey, can I get your number?" And like them pulling out their phone and then putting their number in like their phone and my number in their phone. These days,
Baby, you got to go to the man.
the man what is so
The
off,
men
and
want to be approached.
this is what's
The men
been
want to be
off
courted.
putting to me. I never forget when this transition happened. I think it happened like somewhere between like 2015 to 2016, where like men will give you their phone and say, "Put your number in my phone." That is a ick to me. I hate that because that shows that like you ain't got no confidence. you trying to put the power onto me, and like I need to see you as a leader. If you gonna want my number,
Right, right.
be bold enough to accept my answer if it's me saying yes or me saying no. And it's not like I'm trying to humiliate a man, but at the same time, if you're gonna come to me, come stepping correctly,
Correct, correct.
because they, like, if you're, and nowadays I feel like people are like, oh, what's your social media, which is, to me, I get it. Some people don't feel comfortable giving out their number. I too will give you my social media if I don't feel comfortable with giving out my number. But I also believe it's a cop out. I think it's a cop out. And so, like, just seeing like even that subtle change from like 2015 to 2016 really blew my mind, because
Hmm.
I'm just used to men approaching a certain way, and that shifted in my 20s.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's you just gotta you gotta roll with it, like you said, but if you approach me in the wrong way, you gotta be prepared for rejection.
You got
Because
to,
it's a possibility, right?
girl.
You can't step to me and be like, hey, excuse me, ma'am, you look good. What's your name? Can I get your number? That
That
I love that.
I'm gonna
Right?
slide into that.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a hey, 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 hey. Don't do that. Don't
I,
do that.
the most recent approach I got, and girl, I had to walk away. He walked up to me and my friends. He was like, "Damn, like y'all some fine little shits."
Not fine little shits.
He had to be about 30,
Talking like that. I was gonna say, oh, he a youngin.
talking like that.
Y'all some fine little shits.
Can I get your fine little shit number? Fine. I hearing it in the
That's what you
song.
should have schooled him right there. So let's stop. Let's
That's
stop
not
the
my
lesson.
but that's not my place. I'm not
I'm
about to school you, because you're grown enough. You're grown enough to know that that shit was inappropriate. And an immediate turn off, because it's just like you don't have to use every trendy thing to approach a woman. And that's another thing. I feel like men in their 20s, and even like women as well, like when they go from their 20s to their 30s, like you got to know what fits you and your style, and like how you carry yourself.
yeah.
And also, like, because like you can't just be saying every trendy thing that you see online as a way to approach a woman. Like, it's just not cute. Like,
What if he was in his out? Let's say Alvin Johnson or Drumline when he was trying to get to the blackness and he
girl,
was trying all this different stuff.
maybe he
Maybe
was.
somebody told him this how you got to talk to the shorties.
Like, this is how you gotta approach the woman. You gotta be like, hey, fine little shit. Hey, fine little shit.
Boy,
Like,
not hey
no.
little fine little shit,
Damn,
girl.
that's some fine little shits. Like, boy, you're not gonna get nothing from me, but
Nothing,
this dust that's about to kick up as I run away, because this
girl.
is, it blew my mind hearing it come out from somebody. Like, I hear it in the song and I'm like, okay, it's a song, it's a beat behind it, it's trendy, cool, cool, cool. But to hear another grown man say it, it just gives grow up.
It does. It does. It does. I
What you
agree.
think about the dabbing up tins?
In the videos, I'd be like, dang, they are fine. But
Mm,
at the same time, why are we doing this? What is the purpose for dapping up the tens? Because she don't say nothing or he don't say nothing. They just dap up
they
and
just
keep
dab up and keep
keep
moving.
walking for the sake of a video.
It's flattering.
It is. But
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, okay, I look good today. All right, might put a little pep in my step. But at the same time, if I'm single, are you running it back? What are we
Right.
doing
What's
after
the
that?
follow up?
Right, right,
Yes.
right.
In my 20s, I felt like there was a lot of follow up. In my 30s, not so much. Like, and I don't know, like, if that's due to like social media and people just keep moving and stuff. But it's just like it's really hard to have a conversation with somebody, because like this, like their attention span is so short.
Mm-hmm.
And in the dating space, especially as I'm like dating in my 30s, I'm really learning that like I value long conversations. I value um intentional conversations at that. You can't
Mm-hmm.
just be texting me what you doing, what you doing, what you doing, what you doing, what you're doing all day, every day. Like that,
Right.
I expected that in my 20s, because I was in college. I was always doing something. But now it's my 30s, I'm only doing one thing.
Correct. But as like when you get into your 30s, your career starts jumping off, or whether you have a family,
Exactly.
whatever, it's like you having to learn that while I'm dating, I have to be able to, or this person, like we know we need to set like an actual time to kick it in person because that's gonna be
Right.
the only time that we can actually get this thing building and growing. Because if not, my day to day, baby, I'm too busy to text you. I'm
Hmm.
juggling this. I'm in meetings, whatever, or I'm tired, whatever it may be, right? So I don't have time to even text you, and that could
Hmm.
come off as if I'm ignoring you, right? Or I'm not being intentional on communicating to you. So let's set time aside in
Yeah.
person so we can get to know each other. So I've realized that as well.
And then see, like a big thing that I'm navigating through, and realizing in my 30s, that has really shifted from my 20s to my 30s is that we can text and talk on the phone. That's cool. But I really value that intentional step, like you said, of like, hey, let's schedule out some time. Because after a while, the text messaging, that's going to die off. The
Yep.
phone calls, that's going to die off.
Yep.
Like, where does it go from there? And I, as a person, I don't, at first when I was like in my 20s, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be a double texter. I don't know if I want to double text, or I don't know if I want to call this and that. I will call if I want to call. I will double text if I want to double text, because that's just me saying that like I'm secure in myself. I know that this text message is not saying that I'm thirsty or anything, but like
Right.
if I value conversation, and if we can't hold a conversation over text, if we can't hold a conversation over the phone, then I don't know what to expect in person, you know? And it's okay if like some people are bad texters, because yes, life gets busy, but I don't hang around like waiting for the text message. I'm waiting
Facts.
for when you gonna make that move of saying like, hey, let's go do a date.
Right, right. And plan that day, plan that
And that
time.
date,
Okay, don't just be like, well, it's all what you want to do. What time, what day? Now, like, set the date. January 8th, we going here, we going to do this at this time. And
right.
then that sets the standard for how this is about to go.
Exactly. Now, what has been your worst date experience?
Oh, my worst date experience.
Hmm.
I don't think I've had a worst date, honestly.
Really? That's
I'm
good.
thinking, and I'm like, honestly, like, I really have had some good prospects, I guess I can say,
That's
when
good.
it comes to dating. Whether it was planning the day, I know back in my 20s, this guy I was talking to took me out on a date, clockwork, every Friday.
Wow.
Every Friday evening, clockwork, like no other. I've had people who were like, okay, like, let me open the door for you. Let's go eat here, pick up the tab. Great, we ain't got no issues.
Yeah.
I really cannot even think of a terrible date that's not coming to mind, honestly. Now I've had terrible people I've dated, but
Okay.
not a terrible date. I think I've had some pretty good
Really?
fellas
That's
in my
pretty
past.
good.
I'm surprised I can't think of nothing. Just
Nothing
very
comes to mind as like
romantic.
a worst date experience. You're like, oh, girl, we would never do this again.
No, this
What?
don't seem accurate. It cannot
No,
be
it
accurate.
cannot, bro. Like, ain't no way, girl.
It cannot be accurate, but
Ain't no way.
no.
There gotta be something in there.
No.
Something in that vault. Gotta be something in there.
Baby, I'm not coming up with a single thing.
See, I feel like my worst date
Did
experience
I
is,
block it out? Was that trauma?
hey, now.
No, but I cannot think of a
No
terrible
worse.
date. Not from nobody in Houston.
Wow.
Not nobody from Dallas.
Nothing.
Girl, this is
That
strange.
is strange. Wow. But that's pretty good though. I mean, like maybe you haven't like had a worst date experience.
Even in high school, like, baby, we know we going out on the weekend. You finna take me out to eat, give me some money for my nails, blah
Right.
gas. I can't think of nothing.
I feel like my worst date experience come from doing double dates with my friends.
Oh, I ain't tried that yet.
Child, they tell you, yeah, girl, he cute.
And you get to
And you're sitting across the damn gremlin. It don't make no sense. It don't make no
you had to
sense.
take one for the team.
Girl, taking one for the team. I would never forget my friend invited me to go on a double date with this guy. Mind you, her and the boy, they were already like locked in. Like obviously this is about to go from like just like a date to like y'all be in a relationship. Like y'all been on more than one date or whatever. And I don't know what she said to him about where I am in my dating, or like what he said to her about where his friend was in their dating, but I don't know how they thought this would be a perfect match. Girl, no. It just wasn't. I get there, I'm like, okay, make sure I'm cute.
You didn't ask for no
Making sure,
pictures.
I went in because I trusted her. So I'm like,
Darn the luck,
and this is
girl.
when like social media was like just coming out. Instagram was just being a thing. And so it wasn't like a thing to say, a girl, send me a picture. Like, let me see what he looked like. Nowadays, I've learned my lesson. I would say, send me a picture.
Okay,
Let me
okay.
see what he looked like, this and that. Girl, I get there. Just far beyond my type. Just wasn't giving what I thought it was gonna give. And it's my emotion there is all on my face. And I think he picked up on it that like, yeah, she's gonna friend zone me, or maybe this is a better connection off of friendship. Because like he was like leaning in and like just was trying to connect, and I was just like, ah! It's okay. Like, girl, like, I am here with you. Like, I came in, I dabbed the man up. Like, what's up? What you good? Because
Girl,
I'm
not the
setting
dad.
it.
She didn't even put out the hand to
No,
shake it.
no. I think I'm not gonna waste. And I've been a firm believer. I'm not wasting nobody's time. I'm not gonna waste your time. I'm not gonna waste my time. Um, and I'm gonna make sure that you know from the jump how I'm coming. And so it's definitely giving homeboy, homegirl, lock it in. But yeah, no, girl, that was like the worst date experience of like going in so optimistic of like, "Oh, girl, like, and her man, like, he was cool. Like, he was cool. So I'm thinking, like, if you cool, then that means your friend lineup is cool too. Wasn't the case, child. Wasn't the
Got to be
case.
more careful.
Got to
Got to be
be
more careful.
more careful.
Listen, after this episode, I'm gonna think about my terrible dates, and if I can't remember anything at this point, I might need a little EMDR because
Something's drowned out.
something is blocked.
Something is blocked.
Okay, so how do you know when you are ready to go from casual dating to intentional dating?
So it's based off of the consistency. If I'm seeing that like I'm consistently coming to this person, gravitating towards them, and like I'm not really investing in my other prospects, then like yeah, I want to take this from like casual to us being like trying to see like where this goes when it's just us focusing on each other, because I feel like in like the beginning stages, like I'm focusing on myself, but like for things to get past that point of us from focusing on ourselves to now focusing on each other, it has to be some level of consistency. But then also we just gotta vibe every time
Yes,
we see each
yes.
other. And the vibe is based off of like I see you, how I see him showing up for himself, how he keeps his space, and then also how he treats like his friends and like service workers when we're out and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, if I'm seeing those things and like, I also like spontaneous things as well too in dating or whatever. You texting me like, hey, like, what you doing? What you doing for lunch? And I'm like, oh, nothing. Like, I'm just chilling or whatever. All right, cool. You want to meet up here? We can go get lunch. I love that. Like,
Right,
yes,
right,
because
right.
I'm hungry.
Baby, or you can always send me a cash app for my
Send me a cash app or something.
yeah, yeah.
But just kind of like being, because I really believe in like if a man wants you, it's going to be so evident that he's choosing you,
That's very true.
and so I got to see how you're choosing me amongst like how you're navigating and dating. And then also like I could be pretty choosy too. Like, like if I'm really choosing a man, then like I'm showing up, I'm inviting you into my space. You're seeing other sides of me that other men aren't seeing. Like I'm also doing things that are of value to you as well too. Like I'm being considerate in that way. And that comes over a gradual course of time. You're just not gonna get that up front.
Not at all. Not at all. Okay, I got another question for you.
Mm.
Might be a little TMI.
Mm.
Have you had somebody you were dating, you really like, really vibe with, the feels is all there,
Yeah.
you had sex, and then you like, eh, never again?
Yes. Yes. And it was I am not against circling the block.
Recycling,
I'm
yes.
not against
Okay,
that,
okay,
right?
okay.
Meaning that like if it was bad the first time and like you want to see what is giving the second time, I'm not mad at that or
Mm-hmm,
whatever.
mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like the sex wasn't giving, it's just like he wasn't giving. Like he just wasn't, it was like a bump on a log. Like, and it was just like, wow, like you're fine, you're this, you're that, but like you're a bump on the log. Like you're not there. Like, like I feel like I'm having a conversation with myself. Like this doesn't go far out of any surface level. And it was like no shade, no tea to him or anything, but it was just like some things it wasn't compatible or whatever. Now, was it good? Yes. Great. But it just wasn't compatible. And so I think like as women, I firmly believe that like I don't need to like control you or manage you to get to where I need you to be.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to build a bear.
I don't want to
You
build a
want a
bear
done package.
done package, or
Okay.
you are packaging yourself up to be the best man or person that you possibly can be,
Right, right.
and I feel like in dating that's another error that we make as women when we're navigating in that space, especially in our 20s or in our 30s, that we try to like fix or manage a person to get to where we need them to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like once you see yourself doing that, your nervous system is probably dysregulated. Like there's something about this man that isn't really going to work out for you. Because I don't believe that as of course I need to if there's something that you're doing that I feel like isn't right, I'm gonna bring it to your attention. But if
Mm-hmm.
it's not, if it doesn't matter to you to change,
What's the point?
What's the point?
Right, right.
And I feel like that is a really good sign for women to lean into, that like we don't have to manage men,
Mm-hmm.
and like there are sometimes we got to focus on our own internal cues that may be going off, that's saying like, girl, all right, you starting to manage this man, or you starting to manage this person, you need to pull back, because obviously you stepping into a role or into a dynamic that maybe is preserved for his mama,
Just about to say the mama.
the mama.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's always the mama fault.
Yeah. But how did you kind of go between like managing what you needed, assessing what you needed versus like trying not to manage a person?
Trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
In my 20s, I feel like, baby, it was definitely given, baby, insecure attachment style, anxious attachment style,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you do go through that whole cycle, right? And when you come out
Mm-hmm.
on the other side, you're like, okay, I can't do that again, because
Right.
that was terrible for me. Whether I lost 20 pounds or I stopped hanging with my friends, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't go do these hobbies and things I like to do anymore. Like, right, just a whole wake up thing, right?
Yeah.
And so then it comes to the point where you, like you said, I don't want to build a bear, right? I'm not about to
Yeah.
raise you like your mama should have raised you. So at this point, if these are my five non-negotiables, we're gonna go down that list and I'm gonna see if you got what I need.
Right.
And if you don't, I am gonna skedaddle out of here with the
Right.
quickness. And depending on how close we are, you get explanation or you don't. And it is what it
Mm-hmm.
is,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But just realize, like, as I'm getting older, these are things that I want within my partner or
Yeah.
somebody I'm even dating. If I'm dating you, you still got an expectation to meet. It
Right.
may not be up here as if we were exclusive, but
Yeah.
you got a bar and you still need to meet that bar. If I'm gonna say you're somebody that's close to me, if we gonna lay down together, you gonna meet the cousins, whatever it is,
Right.
there's still a bar to meet. And if you're not
Yeah.
meeting that bar, you gotta move around.
Yeah. But I mean, there are some women out there who do like to like manage people, and like they like to kind of be that caregiver. So like how do you like go from dating and not doing that off the bat? Like what would you tell them?
Girl, go to therapy.
You tell them?
Go to therapy, go to Jesus. Because honestly, look, if you get to the point where you want to take care of a man, something's there. Right? There's
Yeah.
some underlying issue we need to break down, right? If you feel like you need to control somebody, go through somebody's phone, something's there.
Well,
We need to talk
yeah,
about that, right?
yeah, trusting.
Like if you want to keep building people, something's there we need to talk about. If a man
Yeah,
tell you I don't want exclusivity and you say, well, I'm gonna love him and try it anyways and I'm gonna make him change his mind, something's there. We need to
something's
talk about it.
there.
All these things, something is there because these are not normal dating patterns.
No.
And even wanting to be a mama to your spouse, why would you want to do that? Now you blend in the roles, and then
Yeah.
that's gonna become too much. Where you
Because now
gonna,
you're gonna be competing with the mama.
baby, what? And now you got too much to carry because you carrying the mama load, this the spouse load, person
Yeah.
load, whatever. You gonna crack one day. Like
Yeah.
all of that is just, that's just not what you should do if you want a healthy dating dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go to Jesus, go to therapy, whichever one,
Yeah.
or do both.
Just knowing like what is influencing your dating patterns is
Mm-hmm.
really important. If your dating patterns is being influenced by social media, it's going to be really easy to pick that up because you don't know if you're going to be coming or going. And I think that's the same message applies for like men as well too. Like on social media, I feel like the messages that men receive about dating is completely different than the messages that we receive about dating as women.
True, true. And even then your family dynamic in childhood can affect it,
Mhm.
right? Because if mama always said don't rely on a man for nothing, right? You have your own, you
Mhm.
do your own. And great, you grow up learning to be self-sufficient, independent. But
Yes.
then it gets to that point where you got that man stepping in and say, hey, you can rely on me, and you're like, I got it. I don't need no man, right? I'm gonna
Mhm.
do this. Now you, like I talked about before on one of these episodes, your man can't be a man because you haven't learned how to let him be that man, right?
Right.
Or if auntie's always saying, men just cheat. You grew up thinking men
And
cheat,
just cheat. Yeah.
right? And that's really not how it is. So some part of you carries something with you from childhood, whether you know it or not, until
Yeah.
you have that moment to sit down with yourself and you're like, where am I getting these preconceived notions from about how dating should be?
You know what that makes me think about? I forgot the name of that Netflix series, but it was like that. It was like a black cast, a black family. The boy, he came from like it was based in LA, but the boy, he came from a family, a two-parent
Oh,
household.
forever, forever. and they was in high school about to go to college.
Yes, and like the
Yeah,
girl, her she came from like a single parent household,
yeah, with her
and
mama.
yeah, with her mama, and I think she was a swimmer or was she a track runner?
Yeah,
I think one
okay.
of those two. I think she was a track runner.
Yeah.
But that when the dad, when the girl, when her father, I think she was having a birthday party or something, and her boyfriend came over, and
Mhm.
her daddy, the daddy.
Stepped in, was tough and hard, and everybody was like, "All right, it's getting a little too heavy."
Yeah, but the
Yes.
dad was saying some very real shit. He was just like took to her boyfriend of like, you can't depend on her. Like you cannot depend on her to make you happy. You can't depend on her to like figure out what you need to do next in life. And I think that goes back to like how in dating, like when people get into that part of like the committed relationship, they don't necessarily know who they are or like how to sustain if when the relationship is changing and like they're not needed from their partner anymore. So I do think like yes, it is important for you all to like depend on one another, but then also sustaining your sense of identity
Yeah.
and knowing what makes you happy is really important as well too. Like, and so I don't think you got to be 100% healed when you're in the dating space, but I do think you got to know where you are in terms of where you are emotionally,
Mhm.
spiritually,
Mhm.
physically, knowing like what your flaws are, being comfortable with acknowledging that and talking about that, and then also knowing that like okay, at some point in time I got to do the work, you know.
True, true. And I'll say like even like when we and my husband first started dating, like I was upfront. I was like, "Hey, I'm not affectionate. If that's what you're looking for, you got to go somewhere else. I'm a little closed off. I'm letting you know now. I'm working on it.
Yeah,
But I just want to let you know ahead of time. Like this is my package that I have
right.
because you could put on the front for somebody, right? And they go with it, dating you, thinking you got what they looking for, and then
True.
the trueness comes out, right? 6 months later, you take off the mask, and they're like, "Well, if I knew this was you, I
I would
wouldn't
have
even present it, right?"
exactly. Yep.
So it's very good to be self aware enough to know to tell somebody, "Look, this is who I am. This is who I'm not. You take it at face value
Hmm.
if you want to deal with it or if you don't."
Yeah, my favorite like shows to watch about love is one Ready to Love. Have you seen Ready to Love?
Have not,
Girl, you gotta watch it. Also, I also like to watch that Balloon Pop series.
girl.
I also watch that, and I love some Love Island because it's just so interesting of how like people like navigate within the dating space, and it is pretty alarming because like there are some very wild
Mhm.
unhealed people out there, but my whole thing that I just keep telling women, especially as they're transitioning from their 20s to the 30s or trying to figure out how to redate, is that like know what rules are influencing your dating, right? And know like when a man is not meeting your standard that it is okay to walk away.
It's always okay to walk away.
It's okay to walk away.
No matter how much time you put in, it is always okay to
Okay to
walk
walk
away.
away, because like believe a lot of women and even men get caught up in this thought process of like, well, what if it just all of a sudden gets better and I left at the wrong time? That doesn't exist.
Because you're banking on potential instead of facts.
Exactly,
Mhm.
because the way that that person was with you, they're gonna be that exact same copy and paste version with somebody else. It's just that like you're no longer gonna be on that ride to see if they show up and actually
Right.
do the work, and like waiting on that versus like finding your own happiness, finding the love that actually fits you can probably save you a lot of time.
Definitely save you a lot of time.
Yeah. And then often when people ask that question of like, well, what if things get better for them and then things get worse for me? I'm like, maybe we could just focus on how you see you.
Mm-hmm.
Because why being alone is being associated with things getting worse.
And it doesn't have, girl, I love my alone time. Loved.
I will kick my feet up so fast.
Love. When I tell you, I think those are some of the best times
The
of my
best
life.
times. I remember one time I went to go see the Wicked movie. I think I talked about it a couple
Uh-huh.
of weeks, and I had the best time
Listen.
kicking, laughing. Sometimes you could just really have the best time with yourself. You got
You
to give it.
can take yourself to the movies. You go to the mall by yourself, get your nails done. Even if it's at home, baby, we're gonna turn on this music. We're gonna put it over the speaker. We're gonna make us
Hmm.
a drink, make a nice little meal, and I am enjoying myself.
You really gotta focus on like what does this contentment look like for you, and like how do you see yourself, especially if you choose or choose not to navigate in the dating field. But we're gonna move on to our next segment for today's episode called Touched by an Angel. Keisha, girl, what you got for us?
Okay, y'all, we got two things. So I stumbled on a new song by this girl named Arya Blue. It's
Okay.
called "God Don't Play About Me."
Okay.
Okay, it is a gospel song, but I feel like I relate this to this episode because sometimes you got to show these men God don't play about me.
Come
And
on.
whether you try to do me bad, baby, it's going to come back on you. You may not think so, but the relationship I
Hmm.
got with God, you're never going to sleep.
I love it.
You're not going to get any peace. Nothing good is going to come to you. So
Okay.
please remind people and remind yourself that God does not play about you when it comes to dating. Because sometimes people will do you
Yes.
wrong and then you don't want to date no more. And now you got a whole fear. Just remind yourself, give it to God, and He will handle it
Hmm.
for me. Also, Isaiah 60:22, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. Okay. So a lot of times people are just like, I just want to know when my time is. Like, when am I gonna find my husband, my wife,
Hmm.
whatever? I'm tired of being alone, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And it's just like focus on you, focus on the present because when it's meant to be, it's gonna be,
It's gonna
right? And
happen.
a lot of times we ask for things thinking we're prepared for it, and you're not. Like,
Yep.
especially with being married. Like I say all the time, it is like looking in a mirror every day and you fix one thing in the mirror and then boom, your spouse exposed something else. And you're just
Ooh.
like, it's constant fixing, constant choosing to work on this, to compromise, to be the better person. Like it
That
takes
doesn't
a
stop.
it takes a lot to be married. And people say they want to be married, but you can't just pop off and be like, okay, well, I don't want to talk to you. Maybe man, I'm burning that bridge. Like you got to come back and work on
Mm-hmm.
it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when the time is right, the time will be right and it
And
will happen. Okay.
I love that. No, it just kind of releases that pressure that like I don't have. I guess I got to do some work, but and also put myself in those spaces where I can date. So that means like taking myself out to eat. Your man, you're not gonna find your man in the house.
Yeah, not. Yeah, not.
You know, also like just engaging in my own hobbies and interests and things of that nature. So that way I'm in alignment for it to happen. So I love that verse. I love
Mhm.
that verse. Now we're gonna go back to our next. Now we're gonna go on to our next segment called
Yeah.
"Back to Life." Back to
To
reality.
reality.
Okay.
Okay.
And so today, Grassy, we are talking about how in dating experiences, right, we can see how Lori Harvey navigates it in media. Because we don't know the girl. Y'all don't know the girl. Unless y'all know the girl. Tell us about the girl so she can call us and be on the show. But I like the way that she, from what it seems on the outside looking in, how she does navigate within like the dating field. You can definitely see that, like, she's still allowing herself to have standards. She's
Mhm.
still allowing herself to enjoy being in the dating space. She
Mhm.
does it very privately. You don't really know what goes on with the people that she dates.
Right.
But then at the same time, you can tell that, like, she has a certain standard.
And you're not gonna see her in no mess.
Not gonna see her in no
You're
mess.
not gonna see her in no
Not gonna
mess.
see her in no
Okay,
mess.
baby, she is choosing
Yeah.
the higher.
Yep,
Okay,
she is.
and I love that for her.
Yeah, love it down. But then when I think about her dating journey, and then when I think about the other person that comes to mind is Sierra's dating journey.
Mhm.
Because it was very pivotal. Like you could tell like she made a shift
Yes.
in her dating.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering like what are your thoughts about Sierra? Because they always asking for Sierra's prayer and I love Sierra down.
Yeah. I think when you get tired of the bad boy, you get tired of bad boy, right? And
Mm,
you get tired of I want to say the street life, but being in the streets, right? And just
yeah.
dating around, it take one bad experience and you like, all right,
I'm
I
done.
have to change who I want and what
Yeah.
I'm attracted to.
Yep.
And when you have that really, really terrible bad thing, it almost breaks you. You
Yep.
change and you shift and your interest and your taste changes, right?
Hmm.
And I feel like that's what she did. And
Yeah.
kudos to her because
It paid
you
off.
want better, right?
Yeah.
It paid off and she has been her happiest. And I saw an interview, I think she was on Keep It Cute, Sweetie.
I love that
She was on her
podcast.
podcast
Yes.
and say, and they were talking about like her dating life, and she was just like, she is so happy, and she came to tears talking about how happy she was
Oh,
with Russell, and I was like, that's how it's supposed to be, like you think
yes.
about the goodness of your spouse or your relationship, whatever, and you're just like, it is so much greater. It's a breath of fresh air.
Yes, and I love how they're
So,
always speaking like positively about one another, but
mm-hmm,
they're not talking about it like in a fairy tale way. Like she gets really real about like the ups and downs that they go through, and I appreciate the transparency of that because people think that like you said like once you get married everything gets perfect when it's just like no. partners aren't perfect. Like, there's gonna be moments where like y'all are bump heads and y'all
Mhm.
argue and stuff. But like, do y'all love each other enough to like do the work and to
Yeah.
reapproach one another in a loving way,
Yeah.
that resonates with each other. And so I also like how like even the love that they have is even spreading to the kids.
Mhm.
Like, the kids seem like they're happy,
Yep.
healthy, and whole,
Yep.
or they're becoming and stuff. And so it's just like it's really important to figure out the person that you pick, and making sure you're compatible and but they show up for you as a good partner and as a good like father or wife.
Yes, can they navigate in all these different roles that requires? Because some people they good, good spouses, but you may be a terrible parent. Or you a great parent,
Exactly.
but you suck at being a husband or a boyfriend, right? Not everybody can do all roles.
Not everybody can do all roles, but like I think as for our audience, I mean, really encouraging y'all to have an ear to hear because sometimes somebody can present as that perfect partner, but you still gotta be listening to the things that they say when they think nobody is listening, baby. Because sometimes people can say some things that come off real slick, or they can say some things to somebody and you're like, hold on,
They be real like chameleon.
chameleon.
Chameleon, they be changing with different people, different environments.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you starting to see like the real them creep out. So it's just like you got to be really have this level of discernment, when
Mm-hmm.
you're dating, but then also keeping in mind that like you matter, you know. And so I hope y'all enjoyed today's
Yeah.
episode. That's all we got for y'all. I hope y'all like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with somebody. Give us a 5-star rating. We trying
Mm-hmm.
to get them views up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And do not forget to send in your listener letter so we can do our segment called Therapy Mail.
Okay, and follow us on TikTok and Instagram, Committed to Me Podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.